All right, Sunday evening, start of another week. Had a hard, had a hard weekend. Um, I really didn't do anything this weekend, and I'm amazed at how little I did this weekend. Most of the time, people say they didn't do anything, and they mean like they stayed at home or they watched TV or something like that. But like, I did nothing. I barely painted at all. I started to watch Dune, but I only somehow in the entire weekend I got through like an hour and a half only. And like, what else did I do with all of the time? I don't know. I am supposed to be learning some new songs on the guitar. Didn't practice them at all. I didn't read. I didn't. I'm supposed to be doing stuff for my lawyer. Didn't do any of that. Didn't work on my workbook. What the heck did I do all weekend? I really did nothing. Which is possibly also part of why I was so sad this weekend. I think it's kind of a cycle thing. Where I don't do anything because I'm feeling sad, and then I'm extra sad because I didn't do anything. Yeah, it's definitely a vicious, horrible circle in that way. Um, Slept a lot, I guess. I'm still super tired though. Anyway, today I've been thinking about emotions, specifically other people's emotions. And I say this because the reason I've been thinking about it is because Gabby told me back in March that she's scared of me, which makes absolutely no sense to me. Although I do know that over the last year or 18 months or so, I was going through a lot of depression and some really, really intense anxiety and really big, powerful emotions. Mostly they weren't anger, they were like anxiety and despair. But there was some anger in there as well. And when I think about those emotions and how I expressed them, and it would be something like going into a room and screaming and crying, and sometimes it got really intense, smacking my head on the floor or just like hitting the floor with my hand or something. It was big, it was loud, it was intense, it was rough. And I don't remember what it was exactly. I remember if it was a conversation with Sarah or something I talked to AI about, but a while back I was describing that to something that I've been talking to, and it was like either Sarah or the AI was like, can you imagine what it must have been like for Gabby to have witnessed that? And to be sure, it would have been a lot to witness. Yeah, definitely would have been a lot to witness. But in anger management classes, one of the things they tell you to do is to go into the other room and yell. Like, that's a healthy way to release your anger. It harms no one. It's a healthy way to do it. And so in my mind, in my memory, there's this kind of disconnect to where I may have been handling those really intense emotions the way that I am supposed to, as in the way that the I don't know, psychologists or whatever say you should. And even though I'm doing it the right way, it was still freaking Gabby out. So that's kind of what I was thinking about today. Well, I was also thinking about, how I've been feeling this weekend. And these are related, but they're two separate things. So first, like how I was feeling about this weekend. I think what I've been trying to think about emotions as emotions is information. Where a negative emotion really, it just sort of tells you that something is off and maybe what you need to be paying attention to. Something like that. But I'm treating it as informative rather than, I don't know, treating it as information and kind of keeping my conscious mind in control rather than treating it as truth and letting it take control, something along those lines. And it kind of had me thinking about how often we suppress our emotions, and I mean both. We really try to suppress negative emotions, but we also try to suppress positive emotions a lot of the time. And that got me thinking about how we try to suppress emotions in others as well. Like, we get uncomfortable when we personally are sad, right? So we try not to express sadness, particularly in front of other people. We try to just kind of suppress it or ignore it or manage it or just get rid of it instead of allowing ourselves to feel it and engage with it. And so that led me to think about how we also try to suppress emotions in others. Like, if you think about it, when you see somebody else that is sad and they are expressing sadness, mostly what we do is we try to suppress their sadness. We try to get them to feel better. We say, oh, come on, don't feel bad. Or we, try to make them laugh or whatever it is. Whatever it is, we're trying to suppress them, distract them, get them to ignore their sadness. And we do that, with all kinds of negative emotions, anger, whatever it is. And so that kind of got me thinking, like, okay, so we tend to suppress emotions in ourselves and we tend to suppress emotions in others. And that kind of had me thinking about the range of emotions that people typically express. And I think that I am probably a very emotional and very expressive person. Like, I think about the emotions that I typically go through and the emotions that I typically express even in public. And then I think about the emotions that other people express, right? Like, I can't know what emotions other people are experiencing, but I can know what they express. And I'm quite confident that I express a very wide range of emotions compared to most people. Like, I was trying to put a number on it earlier, and I was thinking, like, if I think of my own emotions as 1 to 10, with 5 being neutral, 10 being like jubilant, ecstatic, excited, everything, and 1 being like suicidally pessimistic. Like, I regularly express every number on that scale. Absolutely. I cry in public when I'm sad. I yell even in public when I'm angry. I don't hurt anyone. I don't hurt anything. I just express everything. When I'm excited, I get giddy with excitement. It roars out of me and I cannot contain myself. So if I think of the emotions that I regularly feel and express as going from 1 to 10, then I would say that the emotions that other people feel and express, I don't know how they feel. If I am expressing 1 to 10, I would put the emotions that other people express in the range of 4 to 7. Most people will express like a little disappointment, but not any stronger negative reaction than that. And they will express, mild enthusiasm, but not much more positive than that. And so if I go back to the other thing where I'm like, we typically want to suppress the emotions in ourselves, and that would keep most people suppressing it into 4 to 7. And we also want to suppress the emotions of others because, dealing with a lot of emotional stuff makes us uncomfortable. So we suppress it in ourselves, keep ourselves in the 4 to 7 range, and we try to suppress it in others, keep other people in the 4 to 7 range. So, of course, I've made those numbers up. But if we think about it that way, then I could understand how the range of emotions that I express could be very overwhelming, could make everybody very uncomfortable, in both in a positive way. If I'm expressing a 10 and most people are like, hey, we shouldn't go above 7, that might make people uncomfortable, but typically people are actually happy, I think, to see that kind of exuberance. But if we go the other way and I'm expressing a 1 and people are like, hey, we don't express less than 4, then I can understand people being very put off by that, maybe even scared by it. So that's really what I've been thinking about today. I like having a lot of emotions and I like expressing them. I like that I cry during movies in public. Happy movies and sad movies. Beauty and the Beast. Whoa. I remember I went and saw The Giver. I loved the book. I saw the movie in theaters and I just wept so much, like, throughout that movie. It was really a lot. Like, I went with a person and she took me aside after the movie and she was like, this is too much. And apparently everybody was like looking over at me because I was weeping throughout the movie. But like, there's a scene, in the book and in the movie, he can't see color. And then he starts being given these memories by the giver. And he can't see color. And he sees a sunset for the first time. And like, can you just imagine if you'd never seen color before and then you saw that sunset in that movie? Can you imagine what that would feel like? Tearing up a little thinking about it now. But yeah, I like feeling stuff. I really like feeling it. So I don't think I'm going to constrain myself to a 4 to 7. I think I'm going to continue having a 1 to 10. Even the negative emotions, I think, are worth feeling and expressing. Although I will also try to keep in mind that they are informative. I should use them to inform my conscious mind and not allow them to control me. All right, yeah, that's what I've been thinking about today. And as much as I felt pretty bad throughout the weekend, and I cried quite a bit this weekend, and I felt very lonely this weekend, but I think I've ended up in a better place. Got a meeting with Sarah tomorrow. I'll talk to her about all of this, and maybe something good will come out of it. And I'll talk to you tomorrow as well. Good night.